And where you are in your career, you don't offer me nothing.
If you don't want to fight,
I don't need to fight.
If you don't want to
where
fight,
I'm going
say
is
that, bro.
bigger and better than you.
Bro, Doc, you lost.
It's bigger than better.
The chief
the doctor walked on his ambulance.
Good for the sport. You know, it's unfortunately what happened, and no one wants it. I didn't actually see it because we were doing an interview in the room, and I come out and I heard about it. No one wants that happening, but both the guys were.
Like I said, there's always two sides of AJ.
Which you said for a while that you will see it at some point.
You will see it. And when someone pushes your buttons, when someone shoves you like that, when someone starts talking about your mum, no man.
Deontay Wilder rushed to the hospital after a heated Anthony Joshua airport brawl, and it reveals just how fast tension between two heavyweight giants can spiral out of control. What began as a sharp, hostile exchange suddenly snapped into chaos, with tempers erupting and no one stepping back. If this story holds true, it forces unsettling questions about discipline, ego, and how deep this rivalry really burns. Both fighters are already carrying immense pressure, and moments like this don't just add fuel, they threaten to ignite something far more dangerous. Eddie Hearn reveals how fast everything can unravel the second personal lines are crossed in boxing, and the shift isn't gradual, it's instant. He warns that every fighter carries a hidden breaking point, and when disrespect drags family into the spotlight, something snaps without hesitation. What seems controlled on the surface can flip in a heartbeat, turning silence into confrontation before anyone can react. In a sport fueled by pride, pressure, and deep-rooted rivalry, control is often just an illusion waiting to shatter. Hearn's perspective exposes a darker truth. Outside the ring, tension doesn't fade, it festers, building quietly until it explodes into something physical. And when that moment hits, when tempers ignite beyond reason, even the most disciplined champions can lose themselves completely.
Start talking about my mum and all this other stuff, I'm going to have a pop at you. I can't fight, but I don't care, I'll have a right go. And you're talking about the world heavyweight champion. If you start talking to him like that, if you shove him like that, he's going to react.
Duke McKenzie exposes the business reality of boxing, where chaos and controversy don't just happen, they drive attention and explode ticket sales. He makes it clear that while moments like this may unsettle purists, they almost never hurt the sport where it matters most. Instead, the tension, the headlines, the unpredictability, they pull fans in deeper. What looks like damage on the surface often becomes fuel underneath, amplifying hype and turning already big fights into global spectacles. McKenzie's insight cuts straight through the illusion. Controversy doesn't weaken boxing, it sharpens its edge, magnifies its reach, and transforms clashes into must-watch events that push the business side of the sport even further.
It wouldn't surprise me, but like I say, I don't see there's any harm in it. It doesn't bring the sport into disrepute in any way. This is the show business world that we live in. There's the fight game and then there's the fight business. And from the business perspective, that's probably just sold another 1 million tickets worldwide for people to watch this fight because they can.
Frank Warren responds with a sharp warning, stressing that moments like this don't just shock, they quietly damage boxing's image. He makes it clear that no one deeply invested in the sport wants to see control slip or situations spiral beyond professional limits. What may look like brief chaos carries longer shadows, threatening the structure that keeps the sport respected. His reaction reveals a deeper unease from a promotional standpoint, where image, discipline, and order aren't optional, they are essential. Because once that control cracks, even slightly, it risks undermining credibility, turning attention away from the fights and toward the disorder that no one can fully contain.
That's for sure, and everybody wants to show some respect to each other, and let's see what the fight.
Anthony Joshua sounds completely dialed in here, like something has clicked and there's no turning back. There's zero hesitation in his voice, no second guessing, just intent. He doesn't just say he wants to hurt Deontay Wilder, he leans into it, yet still acknowledges the danger Wilder carries with every move. That balance between calculated aggression and sharp awareness reveals how intense this has truly become. Joshua understands Wilder isn't predictable, not even for a second, which is why he's breaking down every detail, every pattern, every possible outcome. This isn't empty talk anymore, it feels like something deeper has taken over, where preparation is no longer just strategy, it's personal, and the line between focus and obsession is starting to blur.
Not problems, but that's high-level competition. I won't kind of go over everything that I've been studying about him, but let's just say he's got a good mindset. He's spoken a lot, so you know where his head's at. his game, innit? And that'll be good enough for me. That's good enough to bring the best out.
Frank Warren steps in, trying to smother the chaos after the airport clash, insisting boxing was never meant for scenes like that. He says both camps have issued apologies and supposedly buried it, yet something unresolved hangs in the air. When sparks fly this violently, rivalries don't just reset. The spotlight has locked in, and fans are bracing for something even bigger.
That's not what we want. I don't want to see that happen. No one does. But I understand now both sides have made it up. They've apologised. So hopefully it's all in the past and we can concentrate what everybody's at.
Deontay Wilder is sending a sharp message that is locked in for anyone in the heavyweight division, and there's zero doubt in his mindset. When he drops, "Let's get it on," it hits like a warning shot, revealing that raw, aggressive instinct fans recognize instantly. Calling himself Mr. Clean isn't just talk, it feels like a threat, as if he's planning to erase whoever stands across from him. That familiar Wilder confidence, laced with intimidation, keeps his presence hovering over every major fight discussion.
I mean, it wasn't a few words, I adapted up with him and I said, now let's get it on. And it was simple as that.
Does that apply you on next, Deontay?
I'm ready for whoever, It's whoever. As long as these guys is in the heavyweight division, I'm here. Like I said, you can call me Mr. Clean because I want to clean up the whole division. The heavyweight division is nothing without Deontay Wilder.
Tyson Fury doesn't hold back here, his stance cutting through the noise, showing more respect for Wilder than for Anthony Joshua. He praises Wilder for taking risks and stepping into danger against top opponents like Ortiz even when others backed away. Fury's message feels blunt and intentional. Wilder has proven himself in chaos-filled battles while Joshua still carries unanswered questions on the global stage. It's a pointed take that pours more fuel onto the already burning heavyweight debate.
Joshua needs to prove himself on the world stage because he's so happy fighting in England and he fought beaten Klitschko after I'd destroyed him mentally and had a war with him in a beaten fighter. So he needs to prove he's willing to step up to the plate and fight the best.
Max Kellerman frames it from a cold business angle, and it's actually a sharp point. Joshua was already earning massive money fighting in front of huge UK crowds, so taking a risky fight against Wilder doesn't automatically guarantee more value. The danger factor is very real because Wilder is seen as someone who can beat anyone on a good night. That is what makes this matchup so complicated. It is not just skill, it's risk versus reward at the highest level.
Was making $30 million a fight fighting anyone in front of 70 to 100,000 fans in England. Why make $50 million to fight a guy who might beat him, right? Wilder really can beat he has chances against anyone because Fury's right. He's one of the great all-time punchers with the right hand. So there's no financial incentive for Joshua.
Carl Froch adds brutal tension, questioning whether Anthony Joshua truly believes he can beat Deontay Wilder. He paints a dangerous split second in the ring where one clean right hand ends everything. That uncertainty fuels the unpredictability of the fight. His point is sharp. Joshua cannot afford hesitation because against Wilder confidence is not optional, it is survival.
Everybody, but I don't know if AJ believes he can beat Deontay. Well, maybe he does, maybe he wants to come back, maybe he wants to fight again, but what happens in that fight? Anthony Joshua in one corner, Deontay Wilder in the other corner, they come together in the centre of the ring. What happens? I honestly can't say what happens. I think if Deontay Wilder throws a couple of meaningful right hands and connects on AJ's chin, then the fight's over. AJ will be knocked out. He's got to fight.
Carl Froch highlights a tense moment where Anthony Joshua seemed uncertain after Deontay Wilder's call-out, hesitation creeping in as he avoids full engagement. That split-second doubt twists the rivalry into something psychological. Wilder stays primed, ready to explode into the fight instantly. It stops being skill alone and turns into a mental war over belief in victory.
Today, when Deontay Wilder walked from the ring, AJ was stood there looking a bit weird and a bit confused, am I going to do anything? Am I not going to do anything? And Wilder, I think, said, let's do it next. Let's do it. Let's get it on. And AJ just he didn't say much. I think he might have said, you don't want this or something to them lines, but never really tried to get the fight going. I think AJ's got this thing in his head where I don't think he's sure of himself. If he thinks about fighting Deontay Wilder, does he believe he can actually beat him? Because
Duke McKenzie focuses on how Deontay Wilder knows how to sell a fight and stay relevant at the top level. He acknowledges Anthony Joshua's size and punching power, even suggesting AJ might actually hit harder. That comparison builds tension because both men carry knockout danger. It becomes a heavyweight clash where one punch can change everything instantly in a split second.
Deontay Wilder knows how to sell a fight, and he's already called out Joshua. That's a big fight. I mean, like I said, I'd love to see him walk away from the sport. Wilder, I'd like to see him say, you know what, I've had enough, but he's already got his eyes on the next one, potentially a fight with Joshua. It's not a good fight to take. It's not a good fight to take. You know, Joshua's a big, meaty guy. Joshua's right hand's like probably the hardest. He's probably the hardest punching heavyweight right now. For me, personally, I think he hits harder than Wilder.
Johnny Nelson comes in with a bold, almost uneasy claim that Deontay Wilder's explosive punching power isn't quite what it used to be anymore. He hints that the old TNT reputation has started to fade, suggesting the same level of danger may not fully translate at elite level now. Yet there's hesitation in his own tone, like even he isn't completely sold on that narrative. That contradiction is what makes it gripping. Because despite the doubts, Wilder's name still hangs heavy with fear in the heavyweight division. One clean shot can still flip everything in a heartbeat, and that lingering uncertainty is exactly what keeps this rivalry alive at the very top.
Wilder's snapper's gone. Wilder's TNT has gone. Wilder's that punch is gone. He couldn't even let it go. He's just gone. So I don't believe that. I think Carl might be setting the cat amongst the pigeon, but I don't believe that.
Are we going to get a...
Eddie Hearn delivers a mixed but telling assessment, saying Anthony Joshua looked sharper while also admitting Deontay Wilder wasn't fully convincing. He shows respect for both men, but it's clear he isn't completely sold on Wilder's recent performances. Even so, he acknowledges the toughness of fighters like Derek Chisora and the level Joshua consistently operates at. It keeps the rivalry finely balanced. Neither fighter is written off, but both are being questioned in different ways, and that uncertainty keeps everything on edge.
It's all eyes on getting AJ whatever works best for him, whatever the right route back is for him. There's discussions ongoing. AJ's the hot ticket. You know, everyone wants to fight Anthony Joshua, so let's see.
Counterpunch Boxing delivers a blunt verdict, suggesting Deontay Wilder knocking out Anthony Joshua no longer feels likely, pointing to his jab work and question consistency. There is a growing belief that Wilder may struggle to even set up that trademark right hand against someone like AJ at this stage. But even inside that doubt, there is a quiet warning that never disappears. He only needs one clean shot to flip everything instantly. That is the reality with Deontay Wilder. No matter what analysts insist, the knockout threat never fully vanishes in heavyweight boxing. Predictions can collapse in seconds, and that is exactly why this matchup still carries danger even if Wilder is seen as technically limited. His power alone keeps him alive in every discussion about finishing elite opponents like Joshua.
Thought he looked better. Listen, Chisora's not easy. Do you know what I mean? He's a tough man. He's not an easy guy to beat. Obviously, I wasn't impressed with Wilder, but I was more impressed than I thought I was going to. That makes...
Anthony Joshua speaks with a chilling sense of purpose here, making it brutally clear that this fight with Deontay Wilder isn't about hype anymore, it's about necessity itself. He insists both men come from the same generation yet carve dominance in completely different shadows. There is frustration bleeding through his words when contracts and negotiations get mentioned like barriers, not solutions. He wants action, not endless talk. Joshua sees this as a fight that must happen for legacy, not delayed. Business games. It feels like he is slowly closing the distance between discussion and reality, dragging the whole situation toward a final collision inside the ring. When a fighter starts talking like this, patience is already gone and focus has narrowed to a single target that makes the potential clash even more intense.